Bezat HaShem, back in the Knesset Maor Tzchak, Shabbat Maslachat here. Today is the 15th of the month of Kislev, which is approximately less than 10 days already left till Hanukkah, Wednesday night, next week. Shabbat Maslachat. Here we are on Monday, the second day of the week of Pashat Shabbat Vayeshev, in the limud of Sefer Yirat HaShem from Rav Moshe Amber, Alav Shalom. B'shat Maslachat, we're going to continue the Musar on the Parashat of Shavua, Parashat Vayeshev. So we said yesterday, the Ikar, that the person should be toiling and sweating and suffering, bring the suffering on himself, is via limud Torah. And with that, limud Torah suffering that a person imposes on himself, this will be the kapara tikkun of the sin of Adam Rishon that we were part of. And now, through our toiling over the Torah Kedusha, we are completing that task, and we are throwing off ourselves, so to speak, the yoke of the heaviness of that sin. It says, continue the rabbi here. ולכן יעקב אבינו עליו השלום, שבתחילת ימיו למד תורה מאביו. So in the beginning, that Yaakov Avinu constantly toiled learning Torah from his father. וסבל צרות בינתיים, and he was pressured. He was pressured, overpressured at that time. Again, as we know that he was till the age of 63, never left the house, constantly breaking his head, trying to figure out what Torah, what Hashem wants, come closer and closer to Hashem. He did not have the same nisyonot. He did not have the same test as Avraham Avinu had to go through. As we know that the worst thing today, ask every child, what is the worst thing? And the worst word they use is, I'm bored, right? Staying home constantly. There's nothing to do outside. So the children complain that they're bored. Can you imagine? For 63 years, Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. Yaakov Avinu is sitting in the house for 63 years. He's not going out to the field. He's not doing anything that will, make the body a little bit more excited. He's constantly toiling in Limud Torah and perfecting himself and removing that Zohama of the Nachash. He's removing the strain that was caused through the sin of Adam, the first person, Adam Rishon. Then, after he ran away from his brother who wanted to kill him after the brachot that Yaakov Avinu deservedly got. So Esau wanted to kill him. Now what did happen? After 63 years in his father's house, what did Yaakov Avinu do? He ran away, and now itchaba midrash Shem ve'ever. He again went to the yeshiva of Shem ve'ever, and what did he do there? What did he do there for the next 14 years? ולמד תורה י"ד שנה עד שהייתה משנתו שגורה בפיו. He toiled for 14 years straight. What does that mean, 14 years straight? Until the words of the Torah were permeating him, right? And it says, ואחר שיצא משם, and then we learned when Yaakov Avinu passed by in the last parasha, Vayetze, right, where he stopped over and he davened and he had a whole dream. ושם נאמר עליו בחלום הסולם, ויקץ יעקב משנתו. It says over there, after he saw a very vivid and a very scary dream, it says over there, and he awoke from his dream. What did the rabbi explain over there to us? Meaning, he now, all of a sudden, he stopped his preparations. So imagine yourself, Yaakov Avinu, in order to go outside to work, he toiled in his father's house 63 years, in Yeshiva Shem Ve'ever 14 years. That's 77 years. Before he came to Lavan's house, before he left the Midrash, before he left the Midrash, there was one time, I think, Rav Shach, I'm not sure exactly which Rosh Yeshiva, a person after 10 years of marriage, he comes to the Rebbe and he says, I need to go out to business. Baruch Hashem, me and my wife have about 7, 8 children. We need money for the house. So he says, where do you want to go? I want to go into work. So the Rosh Yeshiva said, 1 second. You're here for 10 years, we're learning Gemara, we're learning the Mishnayot very nicely, but there's a problem. What's the problem? How are you going to go into the business world? You don't know Choshen Mishpat. Come, let's learn with me. The next 2-3 years, you're going to learn with me Choshen Mishpat, the halachot of how to behave yourself outside, not to be tricky, how to keep your word. So the Rebbe said to the Rosh Yeshiva said to the student, come, we're going to learn properly first. Here, Yaakov Avinu, before you go out to the world, 77 years old, he toiled constantly in order to know how to treat this world, how to behave in this world. ועוד דרשו וישכב במקום ההוא, במקום ההוא שכב. The rabbis tell us that we learned, what's his name? Just a second. So it says over here, וישכב, over there, במקום ההוא, and he slept on that place. What does that mean? The rabbis tell us, אבל י"ד שנים שלמד תורה, במידה השם ועבר לא שכב. To teach you that he completely annihilated the sleep from his body. That for 14 years, can you imagine? 14 years while he was learning in Yeshiva HaShem Ve'ever, he did not allow himself to fall asleep. Here he fell asleep in the parashat says, but then over there that before in the yeshiva he did not sleep. Shaya osek b'Torah yom v'layla lishma. He constantly toiled over Torah day and night, as we learn over there in Bereshit Rabbah Perek Samachet. Ubazeh zikach gufo mezumat anachash, and with this he cleansed his body completely from the sin of the snake. Ve'od darshu al pasuk ve'ishkav b'makom hahu, and the rabbis more explain on that pasuk where it says that he fell asleep in that place. B'makom hahu shachav. Over there he fell asleep and he took a break from 14 years of toil. Listen to this. For the next 20 years, 22 years till he came back to his father, he did not sleep. Wow. Then, because of this toil, constant toil, he worked for Lavan, and then in the middle, he was working and he was learning, obviously. So over there, he has completed, in this 36 years, he completed the following. Three objectives. Three objectives he has completed in those times. Echad, nasata benatata be'emunah. First rule, the first question that we ask when we come to Shamayim, did you perform business with trust to Hashem? Number two, then asakta b'Torah. Did you study Torah? Number three, tzipita lishua. Did you await for salvation from Hashem? As it says in the Gemara, Daf Lamed Aleph, Shabbat. Keneged maaseh dibur u'machshava. It's all corresponding to the deeds and talking and your thought process. וסמנים בפסוק מתי אבוא ויראה פני אלוהים, that the siman, the sign of this is going to be as the words when I'll come and see the face of Hashem. מה זה מתי? The word מתי, when, is ראשי תיבות מסע ומתן. מתי? מסע ומתן, it's words of deeds and action. Talmud lomar, the Torah teaches us, Yeshua. So again, Masa umatan, a person who does business, Talmud Torah, he learns, and Yeshua, and he waits the redemption. Bazeh imi kayimam avo ve're'eh pnei Elohim, meaning if a person, when will you see the glory of God, is when you perform these three tasks in this world. Do business honestly, learn Torah, and wait for salvation from Hashem at all time, anytime. Pnei Shechina, Pnei Elohim, Pnei Shechina, you want to see Hashem in the end. And then after all the suffering that Yaakov Avinu endured in this world, Lemet Torah lebanav u'mivyuchad leyosef bno. He taught the entire Torah that he learned to his children, and specifically to his son. שהיה לו בן זקונים שקלט ממנו כל החוכמתו שלמד יעקב ב100 שנה. That Yosef Avinu, Yosef HaTzadik, in 17 years, he has comprehended the entire Limud Torah of Yaakov Avinu by the age of 100. Whatever it took Yaakov Avinu to learn 100, Yosef HaTzadik grasped it by the age of 17. במשך י"ז שנות אלו של יוסף, and 17 years of this Yosef's life, היו לו ליעקב ולבסוף ביקש יעקב לשב בשלווה. So now Yaakov Avinu realized this was his whole preparation. All his 100 years toil and preparation. Remember, we said at 77, right? He came to Laban. At 99, he left him. So those 100 years of preparation, right? It was also destined for what? For Yosef HaTzadik to be Rochesh, to get it in the continuation of Yaakov Avinu. Now, Yaakov Avinu, how we could understand this parasha? כי חשב שאז יתחיל לזכות גם בעולם הזה לפני פטירתו. And now, in 100 years, Yaakov Avinu already said, finally, I could breathe a sigh. I mean, I have already a next generation prepared. That was Yosef HaTzadik. So he thought to himself, maybe now I could have some consolation in this world also. ואומנם נעלם ממנו שכשם שתאחר כ"ב שנים בבית לבן ולא עסק במצוות כיבוד אביהם. However, there was a problem. What was the problem that escaped Yaakov Avinu's concern that he should have been concerned about? What was that element? 22 years he did not fulfill the mitzvah of honoring your father and mother because he was in the house of Lavan. כך יוסף בנו נפקד ממנו. Therefore, we're going to learn that this parasha starts the tragedy where Yosef HaTzadik is going to be taken away from Yaakov Avinu for 22 years. שהקדוש ברוך הוא מדקדק עם חסידיו כחוט השערה עמידה כנגד מידה. As we know that הקדוש ברוך הוא...
Why only 22 years? It's 20 plus 14.
Very good question. Just let's finish the mishpat over here. You know what? Let's tackle this issue.
But I guess if he's learning in yeshiva,
yes,
it's not considered.
Exactly. That's what the rabbi is asking. Why not 36 years? Well, you should be.
But Lavan, he was 20 years. Where's the other two?
The 2 years of traveling. He was Lavan for 20 years till he's got. That's why I said till he got to his father. Took another 2 years. The travel of, from place to Sukkot to Shechem, the whole balagan over there, right? With the Esav. It took him a long time to travel. It's not. Just to abandon Lavan took him 7 days. Can you imagine? Just to leave Lavan's, which is not so far from Eretz Yisrael. But again, with the family and with everything, it takes time to travel. So it took him 2 years to travel. But anyway, besides that, why not 14 years when he was learning in Yeshiva Shem Ve'ever? So the Chachamim tell us when a person is doing a mitzvah, right? Here, even better more than ask the question. The question is, he was commanded by his father to go to Lavan's house. So why is he getting punished for 22 years? Because in reality, it took him 14 years to get his wives. So that's still part of the mitzvah. But now, why is he punished? For those 6 extra years. Technically speaking, Yaakov Avinu should have packed up and gone at the age of after 14. After 14 years at 91, he should have packed up and gone. No. He stayed for another 6 years, right? He stayed for another 6 years to earn his parnasah. And the Chazal say, now he gets punished for that. Now we're going to punish him, including the 14 years of his commandment, of fulfilling his father's commandment. Why? Because all of it was done and it was all related, the 20 years. But the 14 years when he's learning at Torah, he is not in this world. As we see, we learn many places, Adam ki yamut ba'ohel. When a person is dead in the tent, he is not, nobody feels him, nobody knows about him, nobody even cares about him. So same thing over here. When Yaakov Avinu diligently learned for 14 years, he is like a dead man. So if he's like a dead man is patur, is totally exempt from honoring his father and mother. So the 14 years that he's toiled in the Torah, in Yeshiva Shem Ve'ever, he's not getting punished for. But what is he getting punished for? This whole element of getting wives and then delaying coming back to his father right after getting the wife, because obviously that's what his father commanded. He didn't need to, technically speaking, Yaakov Avinu did not need to stay by Lavan to work for Parnasah. Yitzchak Avinu was a very wealthy person. He could have taken care of him, okay? And if you're going to...
He made a deal.
Again, what deal did he make?
But he made a deal with Lavan, right?
Again, Lavan pressured him, and Yaakov Avinu should not have stayed. That's why he gets punished.
He could have left after 6 because he got there.
Right. After 14 years, he could have left. We just said
He
that.
could have left.
He could have left, but he didn't leave. He stayed there to make parnasah. That was the problem. So now, since he didn't there, so you can't punish him only for 6 years to make him parnasah. What about the 14 years that he was making? Right? No. He got punished for 22 years, even though 2 years he did live in Eretz Yisrael. That's not why he's getting punished. He's getting punished for delaying, not honoring his father. For 22 years. That's the whole scenario here. Okay? And then, Shakadosh Baruch Hu, so why is he getting punished here? Lechoira, I mean, all this is justifiable. All 22 years, 2 years traveling, that's not his fault. 6 years he was there. It could be Yaakov Avinu also could have said to Hashem, wait a minute, how you want me to travel with 11 children, no parnasa, no money? How am I gonna travel? Again, that's all about chisaron bitachon. Maybe. What does that mean? How are you gonna travel? Hashem is in charge of the world. Somehow you traveled naked. By the way, Eliphaz left him naked when he stripped him off all his clothing. What did Hashem do? The Midrash says that he went to the river. He was hiding by the river, waiting to see what's gonna happen. All of a sudden, he sees a man being bitten by a snake. Okay, so he took all his man's clothing and a jug of oil and buried that man. Naked, obviously, you got to bury a person naked. He doesn't need clothing anymore. So that's what happened exactly. Okay, so what? Hashem doesn't have a problem supplying your needs. So that was the whole complaint that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to Yaakov Avinu. How dare you stay another 6 years? Oh, now that we're punishing you for 6 years, let's punish you for the rest as well. And that's what it means. Hashem is very meticulous with tzaddikim. Remember that it's not that Hashem is an evil God who wants to punish anybody. That's a big mistake people think. That Hashem over here is being berated by Satan, who is constantly berating Hashem. Look, these people, they could have did that, they could have did this. Like we said the other day, why is Hashem punishing a person for complaining? Because Satan says he used his mouth instead of praying to you, Hashem, to complain to you. But over here, this is what the rabbi says. Okay, let's end with this. That Hashem is very much midakdek. He wants to make sure that the Satan should not have any claim against Yaakov Avinu. So now, because Yaakov Avinu taught this process for 100 years, I learned Torah, and now I imbued it into my son, 17 years old. Maybe it's time to rest, to settle on the land. Hashem says, no, you're not resting and you're not settling. Baruch Adonai Olam, Amen. Amen will continue, hopefully, the more chidushim and the parasha b'siyata d'shmaya.